Why, hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. It's yapping time. Oh, yes, indeed. But first, for those of you who are new, hello, I'm Baron Zarko Brown. I'm a Cyber Angel VTuber, and it's a pleasure to add you to my flock. For those of you who are recurring, welcome on back. You know where the seats are. Help the newbies in. Get more comfy. Got a long bit of yapping to go, and my twitchy ass is in the mood to just yap. So, obviously, today we have had a little. It's been very up and down. Let's put it that way. It's been very up and down. And keeping calm has been what I've barely been able to do all day. But hey. I just realised we put it on the multi-stream mode, so it actually I can see everyone's chat. That would probably be a good idea, wouldn't it? Right, should I have a? Should I adjust how I have this? Maybe if I have it like this. There we go. I have my Streamlabs in front of me so I can actually see the multi-stream chat. There we go. That'd be intelligent. Very intelligent. To be fair, I could definitely do this on a single monitor, so it's easy enough. What was I saying? Yes. So, today, it's been very busy for little old me. I've been neck deep in all kinds of things, and none of them fun. Not for me, anyway. And how shall we say? It's just been one thing after another today. And I think towards the evening, I think I've got a bit twitchy. As I describe it. You know when you get yourself bothered about something that's just not important, right? That was me earlier, I'll be honest, that was me earlier. I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, shall we say, I'm having a little something worked on, and I got very worried about whether something was TOS. Okay. And on retrospect, I think it's fine. But I was so worried about whether it was too close to the line or any of that, and I think I'm just getting caught up in it. Honestly, I am. It's difficult sometimes because you really sit there and think to yourself, shit, am I going to have to be alright? Because obviously, and it's something I'm glad someone said to the Twitch CEO, I need to speak slower. Oh, fuck me. Slow, Cobra. Slow. Fuck. I'm glad, I believe it was Giga, in fact, who was speaking to the Twitch CEO about various things, and they were mentioning the entire rules and how that all plays. Why is my phone losing me again? It keeps doing this. There we go. Rub the damn camera a little bit, see if that helps, and just clear any crap out of the way. I'll move that over just a smidge, because I feel like I'm a little too... I don't know. That better? That feels better. But yeah, so he was talking a little bit about the entire rules, and they apparently are interested in actually trying to help with that for VTubers, because, it's not that easy to adjust a tire. Though they mentioned, it's for the Creator Club, they're not doing it. That's great if, you're a part of that club. Not all of us are, by the way. I wasn't invited. I'm probably not big enough to be invited, I don't know. The point is, they're not looking at it. I hope that's true, because it does suck for a lot of people who have like a 6 month to a year process in getting a model ready, and then they get it, and get fucked. I don't think that's right. I don't think that someone should get screwed over because of that. I think that's wrong. And personally, I hope that more is done. They mentioned the ambassadors being involved. Again, I hope that they actually do something. Maybe I've just had a poor impression, but with no disrespect to some people, the last Twitch ambassador I saw talking really didn't sound like someone I wanted representing me, personally. But, hey. I'd like to think there are many good ones, we just don't hear about them, because unfortunately the bad ones get seen more. Which is shitty. But, it is what it is. But, I don't know, I got too caught up in it, and thankfully, my mod did talk me down from it. I was going to have some slight changes done, but I'm not going to now, and my apologies to the artist. I already messaged them, and then I retracted going, actually, don't worry about it, it's fine. My apologies having to deal with my schizo ass. Unless it's schizo in the decision-making, at least that moment in time. I was not in my sound of mind. But I am now. Definitely. More so than I was then. I don't know. Today has put me on edge, I think. It has put me on a big old edge, and I think I just need to be calmer. Hence the title of the stream. I'm trying to be calmer. I've had something slightly more profound as an idea for the name, but I'm getting out my camera again. But I just decided, keeping calm would be the title. Whether it's a good title, debatable, but I think it's a fitting one for what I'm attempting anyway. So, maybe a little peek behind the curtain. Not quite ready to show anything publicly yet. It's still being worked on, but the design is all done, and it looks beautiful. It looks absolutely beautiful. Just maybe put it further back. Would that help? That maybe I was closer. No, might help as well. I don't know why my phone camera occasionally is just losing me at the minute. Maybe I need to adjust the lighting a bit. We'll see. Some minor adjustments to lighting might be in order. Maybe. Without blinding myself. Or having to turn my room light on, which, yes, I know I stream in the dark with a single light on to illuminate myself. Gotta get that face showing off, The camera's gonna be able to see me, hear me around and do my thing. So yeah, I suppose my little lesson for myself today is calm the fuck down. Don't panic so much. I am a warrior, after all. I do worry. To my detriment, but then also I think sometimes my worries keep me safe. They do sometimes. For example, a little thing is I was approached by a random small brand. This brand was an energy drink company. Not one of the big ones, not like Gamer Subs or anything like that. I'm not going to say the name, but they were interested in adding me to their affiliate program. You might think, that's amazing. I thought that too. Then I did my research. And then they seemed more and more sketchy as it went on. And I just couldn't bring myself to align my brand of theirs, because, simply put, they felt too blasé. They felt too... I don't know, there was something unprofessional that when I work with someone like that, like, I'm not going to say I'm hyper professional all the time, I'm not, you know me, but when it comes to my brand, I do take it quite seriously, because I don't want to say, oh yeah, I support this thing, especially a product I've never heard of before, never tried. There is nothing I would recommend to you guys that I haven't tried myself. Because I don't believe in just... I don't know, maybe it's just me being moralistic, but I don't believe in just taking the first potential brands, whatever it comes your way. Because I think many of them just are shitty. They're really shitty brands, some of them. There's some really good ones out there, and I'm more than happy to work with those ones. But there are just some shitty ones that are just knockoffs of them normally. And I just don't really care much for that kind of thing, personally. I would rather wait and eventually come across one that fits more my thing, and maybe I reach out to them, maybe they reach out to me. Point is, this one in particular reaches out to just about anyone to try and expand their reach through affiliate marketing. So, the way I saw it, there wasn't much I was getting out of them. They were getting more out of me. And sure, I don't have as much leverage. What I do have, though, is a bit of integrity. And I don't believe in just selling out to anyone. If I'm going to work with someone, I want to make sure it's a brand I actually like and trust, or at least know is genuine and one that you guys might like. I am picky of that kind of stuff, but I think I would rather be picky and get good brands who I can work with repeatedly and know and get along with, versus a brand that I don't trust. Maybe that's just me. You know, you're not gonna see me promoting certain mobile games, for example, because I don't... The only mobile game I play is Arknights. If I got an Arknights sponsorship, I'm fine with that. I play that. Hell, when Enfield comes out, I'm probably gonna play that. I might play it on stream. You know? We'll see, though, because I tried Zenless for a while, and I like Zenless. I still like Zenless, but I sort of just stopped. I don't know, maybe it was the... Maybe I just didn't like how the gacha was tempting me a bit. Because I try to be disciplined with that kind of stuff, but every now and then it fails me a little, and I always get worried. Because Hoyoverse games are, how shall we say, they maximise the gamba. Whereas Arknights is significantly fairer, I'll be honest. It's still a gacha game, but it definitely doesn't have nearly as rough a pull system. We'll see how Enfield plays, though. There is a weapon banner, but the resource you use for that banner is gained from pulling the character one, so you get one from the other. So I don't mind that too much. So, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Point is, Cobral picky motherfucker when it comes to what brands they work with. I am. I am a picky motherfucker. And as a picky motherfucker, I like to make certain that I only pick the ones that I trust. Or can, you know, I say trust. Trust as much as you can a corporation. One must remember, a corporation is not a person, and thus you can never completely trust them. It's just a fact. You can't. And they can't trust you entirely because who knows what you could do. They're taking a risk in themselves to reach out to you and go, hey, can we work together? It's like, yeah, we can. But, you know, what are you giving me? What am I giving you? What do you want from me? What do I want from you? I think I've seen a few bigger creators say it quite well, that you need to be very transactional with a corporation. For me, if someone wanted to meet me for a brand deal, I would skip the pleasantries, and I would just get straight to, what do you want from me? What do you need me to do? And here's what I'm willing to do. Here's what I'm not willing to do, like if I was to make a video, let's say if I was to make a review, right? Let's say I've made a few reviews, and they see my style of review. I can be very blunt. I'll be honest, I can. I'll be very, very blunt. So, naturally, I will occasionally be a bit harsh on some things, because I think harsh criticism is needed. I think some people need... There's levels to it, right? There are levels to this kind of thing. But you need a little harsh criticism now and then, right? A little bit. Just to foot up ass a bit. Especially for something that is very beloved. I would have a lot of harsh criticism, for example, around Dawn of War 3. That game was terrible. I'll be blunt, it was terrible, and it was a complete spit in the face of everything that made Dawn of War what it is. And frankly, it deserved to fail. This depressing part was how it really was exactly what they wanted, because it was technically brilliant. The game had no bugs as far as I could tell, things worked perfectly. The problem was that the game they made. So, you know, and you know, if someone didn't like that style of review, someone who's willing to say, I thought that was shit, then that might be an issue, because then, obviously, I don't want to compromise my integrity. They might not like that. But that is what it is. It is what it is. Just crap my neck a smidge. But, anyway. That's me rambling on about a few behind the curtain things. Though that one was a little bit ago. Whereas the other one of me having a little worry fest was about an hour ago. So, I'm a warrior sometimes. And honestly, I sometimes really shouldn't be. I mean, the thing I was worrying about with the attire as well, I mean, if I'm at this position on that, I mean, be careful how much I want to say, because I don't want to, like, give anything away. But you can get what's being worked on, and, you know, I think from this sort of point POV, I'd be fine. I think I'd have to really, like, zooming in for it to be a problem. So, I worried too much. But thankfully, I have not done anything drastic. Which is good, because I like how it's turned out. I'm very happy with it, and honestly, I really want to show you guys. And I've shown snippets, teasers, if you will. But I ain't ready yet to show everything that's on offer for that. Not yet. One day. One day we will. Probably by February, to be honest, the design will be ready. Then I guess I kind of just need a little help from you guys, actually. Because I guess if you guys really like the design, like the style, the design in particular is the big one. If you like the style, because I think I actually do quite like the style. But if you guys like the style too, then the person designing is also able to do the art. Indeed. So, that is something I'm thinking about. But, again, this is all in the future, and I've got to think this through a bit. And how I want to do what I do. But, rest assured, I will have a good long think, overthink, and then think again, and then just go with it probably. But hey. I think an issue I know I have, and I'm sure many of you have, is when something's in your head, it spirals, right? And you just keep thinking about it and thinking about it, thinking about it. The more you think about it, the more worrying you get. Maybe that's just me. Maybe my mind is the one that's a spiral loop. But the point is, said loop is pervasive for me. It's something that it just whizzes around in my head. And I think about it. It's sometimes the stupidest things, right? It really is. And I think think half of it, right? I know this sounds a bit crazy, but I think I just end up realizing. I think I can't speak. I think it's because I'm quite often on my own. Quite often, I'm on my own. And because of that, I'm left alone with the voices, so to speak. Not literally, I don't have voices in my head. Internal monologue, maybe, but no voices. But I guess when you've been locked in with essentially what's spinning around in your head, it becomes very difficult to kind of break out of that cycle on your own. And most of the time I do manage it, but sometimes I don't. And then and then it just becomes a bit much. But I think I need to remember I need to reach out to people more often. And I'm sure some of you had the same experience, right? It happens. I know it's happened to me a bunch. And it's something I need to work on more. It is. It's one of the many things I need to work on. Yes, as difficult as it is to say, sometimes I am a mess of a person. I'm a mess sometimes. I accept that. But I think as long as I remember how to pull myself out of said mess, it's not normally a problem. But excuse me, bloody, I am yawning like I'm so tired. Holy fuck. I'm a sleepy fucker today. I think that hadn't helped either. Today has been, it's been a real spinner, right? The minute I walked in, shit hit the fan. And then it didn't stop hitting the fan for most of the day. So I think I've been so tense that a small thing just set me off. And I think it's annoying. I'm annoyed at myself for letting it get that far, but I know why. I understand why it happened. And next time, it won't be an issue. I think. I think, anyway. Maybe it will. But it doesn't happen that often, thankfully. And I suppose the reason I'm so open to talk about this is, well, one, the anonymous position I'm in, where I can yap and not worry too much, but also I'm in a fortunate position that I've grown more comfortable being able to just talk about shit. And thankfully, all of you accept me for my flaws, which is good, because I'm a flawed individual sometimes. I am, unfortunately. I know, crazy to think, but sometimes I am a little flawed at times. But I do appreciate the fact that you guys accept me regardless of my many flaws. As much as I am an absolute pain in the ass at times. It is what it is, as they say. No, we'll keep it like this, I think. I was going to move the Streamlabs thing around, but I think I'll keep it in my face, because then I see both chat. Well, all three chats, technically. Just in case no one chats in any of those locations. Oh, I don't think it pops up. I don't recall, actually, if it pops up there or not. I'll have to, I think it does, actually. No, it does. It does. But it's fine. I'm not a partner, so I don't have any exclusivity clause. That is the one thing that's a bit, I don't know, I found it a bit weird. I get where they're coming from, but I think, I don't know, I feel like making sure your partners are more discoverable is preferable to the platform, no? I don't know. I guess they want to try and pull people off the other platforms onto this one, and so on and so forth. And I get it. That makes sense. But I do often wonder if they consider, hey, your creators want to be able to be discovered. Because Twitch is a funny place. It's a funny little place where it's hard for people to find you. It's hard to be found. And it's not every day you will get found. In fact, many days will go by where you're simply not found, because Twitch has no algorithm. Twitch has nothing to help you, really. And at times I think I get why a lot of people don't stick it out, because it really isn't something that's easy to stick out with. I'm probably getting close to the sum of the comment from on Twitch, but it's just, no. I suppose it's frustrating in the way that it feels as though you can kind of stare into the void for quite a while with Twitch, and you're very confused as to why you're still staring at it. But I don't know, I think it's just there's a sea of people trying to do this. There always will be, because it's a wonderful thing, and when it works, it's amazing. But I think one must always temper their expectations, and remember that it's not every day it'll work so well. I mean, I know some people claim out numbers when they have like hundreds of people. If I had that kind of numbers, I wouldn't complain. Maybe it's just me. I don't live off it though, so maybe it's different when you're living off it. Maybe it's different, you know. Maybe it's more stressful like that. Whereas for me, anyone being there is enough. I'll say I can go. Hell, if I have someone to bounce off of, I can go for a silly amount of time. You know, time withstanding, of course. I mean, some days I haven't got as much time. Like today, unfortunately. It's a Thursday, so... And, I mean, sure, I've managed to get a good amount of time in yesterday, which... I did want to talk about yesterday, actually, because I had a lot of fun yesterday. I had genuinely a lot of fun. And I think I'm honestly just genuinely I need to try and organise more collabs, or just streams where I have other people to bounce off of as well. I think, because you guys, I love bouncing with you guys, chatting with you guys, but I realise to help maybe make a game more exciting, perhaps for you guys, maybe grabbing some friends and just doing some stuff might be genuinely a fun thing to do. And I'm going to be doing a bit of that later in the year, but I say that February's coming up close, and with February Session 0, then I can finally finish my plans and prepare Session 1, which that'll be a big collab kind of thing. Obviously in April we might have some gaps due to absences, but that will give me more time. But March I can use as a bit of a pilot. I can use as a bit of a, here's a thing, and see how it goes. Fucking hell, excuse me. Also, I've taken the Friday off before my Session 0, as in off work, so I have more time to prepare, and also so I have the most energy, so I can really come at Session 0 all guns blazing. Now, I don't think it will affect when stream happens, but if it does, I will let you know. Don't you worry. The Discord, of course, best place to check for that, but if there's any delays that are going to be significant, I'll post it everywhere, so it's very clear that'll be a delay. But I don't think there will be. I'm thinking as well, I'll see, depending on how my planning goes and how much progress we make for Session 0. But I think, genuinely, late February might be a good shout for starting. I'll see how my players feel. I was thinking March, but I might start late Feb. It depends on my planning and my players. If both my players are happy and my planning's good, well, then we're going for it. absolutely going for it. But again, we need to see how things are. And if things are good, as I said, we'll go for it, because I really want to do it. I think it'll be a good step for the content, but also for myself as well, as I've wanted to DM live for a while, and I think it'd be a lot of fun, genuinely. Excuse me. Ugh. I need to stop yawning, holy shit. Ugh. And to be fair, I think bar map, I'm good. But again, I need to get the maps ready. And there might be more planning I need to do based on character stuff. It might be quite a Psycho-heavy game, which is interesting, because a Psycho-heavy game means certain things aren't as out there to throw at them. But then certain things are really out there to throw at them. So, it depends. Depends how they build their Psychos too. They might go more intriguing with their Psychos, you know, telepathy, that kind of thing. And if it is that kind of thing, then obviously I can be more careful. That, and they're not going to get force weapons anytime soon. That shit's rare as hell. Very rare. I think. Are they near unique? Might be near unique. To be fair, they're very complicated weapons, so. It was a weapon that channels psychic abilities, so yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult to use. But I'll figure all that out after Session 0, because then I will know what I'm playing with. I at least know who I'm playing with. We've got that all locked down. So at the moment, we have Devil Den, we have Onyx Naki, and we have JD Moss. So we have a nice, good roster ready to go. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling pretty damn good about it. Fucking hell, I need to stop yawning. Jesus. My apologies for the yawning, by the way. I am very, very tired today. But I still wanted to come on stream because, like I said, I love doing these. It is a couple of hours that I can dedicate to just talking and getting things out of my head into the open. It's what I like to do. I do like to be a yapper. It's my go-to thing to do. Also, speaking of things that I'm really excited for, Endless Legend 2. Holy shit. Like, oh, so good. Like, so Endless Legend is a 4X fantasy game. Like Civ. But instead of the combat being on the map, you sort of have like a battle map that pops out for you. And, oh, the factions, they're just so cool. Dragon people, ghosts in armor, imprisoned sea people, golems, well, little guys make golems and terraform land and lava, moth people who are native to the planet and can just adapt to the winter, and the Volters who are just like humans. I think is there another human faction? I think. Yes, there's also the guys who were left in the wastelands and kind of went mad, became stealthy. There's so many. Like, elves in that are kind of halfway between going kind of feral and trying to be more civilized. And they're becoming industrialized a bit as well. I'm trying to think what else was there now. Ooh. Well, the bugs, obviously. The necrophage, which look like they're coming back in the second game, but bigger and stronger, which I think is cool as fuck. Their leader was interesting because I'm pretty sure there was a few hints that he devoured an endless and gained intelligence, which is why he wears a cloak. It's very interesting. I'm just looking forward to that. Genuinely, I think it's going to be a fun game when it comes out. And I need it. I need it. Will I stream it? Yes. Yes. Speaking of games I want to stream down the road, and I'd like to say a big thank you to the wonderful people at the Total War Reddit, by the way, who have given me a lot of valuable tips on Shogun 2. Shogun 2, or Total War Shogun 2, to be specific, is a historical Total War, and I wanted to play it. Why? When Warhammer's a thing? Simple. I wanted to see something from an older Total War game. I wanted to see a different kind of Total War. What was historicals like? As someone who's played Warhammer mostly. And Shogun 2, many will say, is the best one. And I'm quite likely to agree with that. But I want to play it. I want to get an understanding of it. I want to see what the hype's about. And it's definitely more challenging in some respects. But, admittedly, my very brief playthrough with the Tokugawa clan, I'm probably butchering the name. I will definitely butcher the names. I'm so sorry to anyone who speaks Japanese natively. But the Tokugawa clan are very focused on bows. I built a few too many bowmen because I thought, oh, I'll get some more bows. Thinking Warhammer logic, oh, they'll have lots of shots. One thing you don't realise, they don't have that many shots. So, in Warhammer, units will shoot about, 30, 40 times, something silly. Like, you have to be getting very far into a fight for ammunition to become a problem. In Shogun 2, that is not the case. Ammunition is limited. 15 shots your unit has. You have 15 shots in some cases. And actually, an interesting thing is that a superior, more advanced unit isn't necessarily better in every way, if I may explain. Later on in Shogun 2, you unlock matchlock units. Guns. Guns in Shogun 2 are powerful. They one-shot anything, except for, I think, Bulletproof Samurai, which is a single unit you can have in your faction. I think only one clan gets that. And it's like, they can take, I think, an extra shot or something silly. It's like, they can take a little bit more fire. But otherwise, one bullet hit, one model dead. Simple as that. It's not like Warhammer. If a gun shoots your models, they die. Simple as that. They hit. And you can get Matchlock Ashigaru and Matchlock Samurai. There's also, for one faction, they have Portuguese mercenaries who assist. They have matchlocks. They're very good at them, actually. Matchlocks are like early flintlock, by the way, like pre-flintlock. They use like a match to fire the black powder. Bit less advanced, but still it's a bullet. It's very powerful. And you might say, well, surely Matchlock Samurai are unmatched. And yes, they're very accurate, but very devastating. Problem, there's way less of them, and they have the same number of shots. So, you have a problem. You could either go in, get the Samurai, and have very accurate shooters, but they're gonna miss. And there's not as many of them sometimes. Well, there's not as many of them, and they sometimes miss. Matchlock Ashigaru, on the other hand, come with a wonderful perk of having lots of numbers. And lots of numbers means you can really make use of that fire superiority and just blast away units with them to great effect. Even samurai will fall to them. Hence, you actually probably will want Matchlock Ashigaru. And the thing is of Ashigaru, if they survive over time, you might find that actually they're better picks than some samurai. Now, that doesn't mean all samurai are bad, no. A unprepared Ashigaru unit will falter quickly to Katana Samurai. And Naginata Samurai are absolutely thick. Problem is Ashigaru replaceable, and veterancy is a huge deal. The more veteran your units, the more powerful, and the harder to route them they are. Now that is a bit of a problem, and depending on how I feel as I play Shogun 2, I may look at mods that maybe adjust the balance to be a bit more reasonable, perhaps. We'll see, there's definitely a good modding scene for it, being as the game has been out for ages and is not likely to get a patch ever again. I've also found it does work on Streamlabs, which is important, because obviously I can't stream a game that won't show as a source. So I fixed that problem. And it's actually easier to stream it than Vermintide in some respects, because at least with that, I can make it a game source, whereas Vermintide 2, for whatever reason, does not allow this. I don't know why. I do not know why. I wish I did. But we'll figure it out one day. I hope. I truly hope. So, that is something I've been experimenting with. I want to learn Shogun 2 a bit before I stream it. And I've got plenty of time before I stream it. We have an entire legendary playthrough to do, and I may fail a few times. So in the meantime, I have time to experiment a bit and get to know the game a bit. I've at least learned my lesson on I need some kind of Katana Samurai present in the early game to help deal with Ashigaru units. Though Ashigaru in Yari Wall, which is like a spear wall basically, Yari are spears, essentially. And Ashigaru is like a peasant unit basically, like farmers who've been drafted in. Interestingly, in Japanese history, I was looking into this, and they actually kind of become a bit of a problem because these farmers become seasoned warriors to the point where one would question what's the difference between them and a samurai. It'd be like in medieval times if the peasants who were drafted constantly fought, because the thing people forget, they often say, oh, peasants have crap armor. Peasants have hand-me-down armor a lot of the time. So over time, you could actually have someone who's of lower class in plate mail because they've had pieces handed down so much that they actually had almost full plate. That could happen. Wasn't often, but it could happen. So some peasants might actually be very armed. And despite what you'll see in fantasy games quite often, if you're in full plate, a shield's not necessary. No, seriously. A shield is actually not necessary in full plate. You might ask, Cobra, what do you mean? Well, you might say, well, arrows. Arrows are not going to penetrate plate. Maybe the slit for the eyes, but there are many helmets that are simply not going to let an arrow pass through that easy. And simply put, it would be a hell of a shot that no archers are going to pull off. Properly done plate will just deflect most things. And really, you want both hands for a weapon. Maybe you want a lance. And the shield might be to help bounce off a lance some of a shock cavalry, perhaps. But realistically, you want a nice good two-hander to go in on people. Especially if you're on foot. If you're on foot, that nice little two-hander would help a lot. Because simply put, you're going to want it. The extra heft, the meat, the blunt force trauma that would cause. I'm going on a rant here, but point is, the longer someone's fighting, the better a fighter they become, and the more of a culture of their family getting into war, the Ashigaru were professional soldiers. Simply put, after I think the Edo period, a lot of them struggled to integrate into society because they were warriors. As much as the samurai were, they were almost indistinguishable, bar the second blade. No, I'm not even kidding, that was the only difference. Samurai had 2 swords. That's it. Because they always had a katana, typically. It was a side weapon. Like how a long sword, typically, or a short sword would have been a side weapon. Because, again, these weapons were not practical against armour. They were cutting weapons, self-defense all the time. They were definitely used, by the way. 100% they were used, and they were fully trained in their usage. But the naginata, for example, might have been a more prevalent weapon because of its reach. The bow was very prevalent because, again, it's ranged. And when the gun came around, a certain gentleman called Oba Nobunaga was very keen to make good use of those guns. A little history for Cobra there. Yeah, don't listen to people who tell you that, oh, the Samurai Honor Code would never allow guns. Bullshit. Bullshit. Not only would they allow guns, but they loved the guns. The guns were their favourite. And the camera keeps losing track of my face for some reason. But yeah, they loved the guns. They loved the guns a lot. Holy shit. When the Shogun saw guns for the first time, he fucking nutted. He loved them. Because why wouldn't he? So hence, samurai would happily use guns. In fact, many did. And many would eventually go on to be elite infantry when sort of Fall of the Samurai would happen. Which is its own standalone, by the way. There's also Rise of the Samurai, but I don't think anyone plays that. I've not seen much gameplay of it. But Fall of the Samurai? That's for people who like that kind of era of combat, the lines of gunmen and the artillery. Good artillery, unlike in the main game, because the main game artillery is a bit bad. But then you have the Gatling gun, because yes, the Gatling gun, one of the main reasons that we don't have melees anymore, because as rare as they were in the West to be just out there about, armies had them, and many gave them to the Japanese to deal with their own civil wars. And they reaped a bloody toll, because of course they would. They were fully automatic weapons. The first of their kind, pretty much. So, what was the charging horde to do but be swept aside? So yeah, but that won't be the game I'm playing. Well, that part of the game I probably won't be playing anytime soon. I'll mostly be focusing on the main game, which has some guns, but nothing crazy. Would I be using them? Yes. Why? Because they're effective. Because they are strategically useful. Though, I need to consider my options, because you actually can't research everything in a single game of Shogun 2. Also, there's a mechanic called Realm Divide, which is very interesting. And basically, the more powerful you become, the more likely everyone around you decides, hang on a minute, you're too strong now, we have to come together or you'll destroy us. The same will happen if you manage to take the imperial capital known as Kyoto. Yes, back in those days, Tokyo wasn't the capital, it was Kyoto. And Kyoto is goal. You want to grab it, hold it for, I think, 4 seasons, and then you've done it. You've won. But everyone's going to come for your ass. But owning it does also grant you the Imperial Cavalry, which is like the best cavalry in the game, I think. But you got to take it first. And some clans start quite far away from it, though the ones that start off on the more outcrops of Japan, or sort of detached islands around Japan, they have an easier time because there's less people to fight. With one exception, think the Omoto, I think they're called. They converted to Christianity, so they have early access to guns. Problem: everyone else hates them because the rest of Japan is Shinto Buddhist. And in real history, I believe Christianity didn't get far in Japan. They were very against, and they have a culture back then especially of being very against things from outside. So it didn't take off very well. In fact, I believe there's a movie about how brutally they pushed it out. But this one clan did convert and utilize many weapons. They also had access to like priests and stuff as well. European cannons, and the Portuguese are on side too. They were a DLC one, they were. Now other factions can convert and gain help from Europe, as I believe later on the Portuguese do wander around. If you choose to betray and fight them, you can even get a really powerful ship. I think the Black Ship it's called. And it's just this powerful ship. Because yes, naval combat's in the game, by the way. Naval combat. Something that's not been in Total War for a while. It's a forgotten aspect. But the idea of having fleets and admirals, that's all a thing. And it's interesting to me that it's been abandoned. I understand for Warhammer why they did it. Because in Warhammer, the naval combat is its own animal, and not every faction's balanced in it. The elves, for example, the high elves and the dark elves, are overpowered as fuck for it. One pulls out dragons up the wazoo and shadow magic and has a mighty fleet. The other has black arcs, sea dragons, and other kind of monsters bound to their will. They're insane. You could argue the Vampire Coast as well would be quite powerful. But there are many monsters in the depth. Many horrors in the Warhammer world, which would have been fun to see. There are still some murmurs that we may get a great merworm, even though it's more of a sea beast, but hey, the elves get it, that'd be cool. Obviously it won't be as big as Aminar, because that thing's fucking insane. But if you remember that from the Vampire Coast storyline, which was in Warhammer 2. Which is actually a pretty fun storyline, I do recommend it. To go back to Warhammer for a second there. But guns work similar to how they work in Warhammer, except they're more lethal in Shogun. But the lines of sight are still the same, though they do ranked fire. It's a toggled ability, I believe, for the units that have it. But in older Total Wars, it was actually automatic if you had like lines of 2 or 3. I wish it was like that, because that would be smoother. Shogun 2 does have quite a few unit abilities, so that's one thing to consider. Like the Yari Samurai have a ability that makes them move quicker. Yari Samurai are weird, by the way. So they're Spear Samurai. They're arguably worse than Ashigaru. The Ashigaru Yaris. But here's the thing. They're actually really good at cavalry killing. They can run, because of the high morale, they can run around on their own and murder cavalry. But they're not so good against other troops. So, if you have them, very niche use. Whereas Ashigaru, if you're able to Yari wall, they're the best thing you can have for a while, frontline wise. Katana Samurai are obviously, I'd argue you have the Yari's Ashigaru first, then the Katana Samurai charge in, because they want to be charging in. If they get a rear charge, even better. They want to be charging. That's what they want. Because, as I've tested a bit, they're an interesting unit. I've watched them mincemeat my own troops enough times. So I think I definitely need to make sure I recruit some. Because sieges are a little harder. You can siege, but obviously you might not have access to siege equipment for a while. But you still siege. Weather is also a thing, by the way. If you're the attacker, you can wait for certain weather conditions. For example, fog can disrupt lines of sight. I think night fighting's a thing too. Although I don't know if you can do it by default. But night fighting's a thing. Seasons are a thing as well. Like, you can have attrition from winter. It feels weird, but these are all things that you can have that you don't see in newer Total Wars. But it's something I need to get used to. It's something I need to dabble in more. But I'm enjoying myself with it. I think I'm enjoying myself with it. Apologies, I am so fucking tired. Holy. I didn't realise how tired I was. This will go on for a little longer. Actually, no. I think I'll probably wrap it up here. I appreciate it's a shorter one, and my apologies for that. I'll make it up to you tomorrow, I promise. But I think tonight, just something feels wrong. Something feels wrong with me, I think, and I think I want to actually give myself the rest that I need. We'll make tomorrow a good day. Today is perhaps just not mine. Anyway, thank you for everyone who popped by. I'll see you all tomorrow.